Hello and welcome to Unschooled. Hi, Lexi. How are you today?
Good. How are you, Mandy?
I'm pretty good. I'm feeling this heavier energy this week. We had a full moon, a potent, nice full moon, and that came with some heavier grounding energy. I'm in Atlantic City, New Jersey. There were some storm systems that moved in and out. And then we've got retrogrades starting up on Monday. So we're in that pre-shadow. And I just kind of feel like the groundedness of it. Not that I'm down or anything like that. It's just kind of moving a little slower, sleeping a little deeper, feeling a little bit more integrated, which is really in alignment with a lot of the retrograde energy that's coming up. So I guess I'm a happy, healthy light worker today. What about you?
I love it. And I love how you talk about it, that it is a heavier energy, but it's not negative. It doesn't just because it's a heavier energy, it doesn't have to be something negative.
More just
And
grounding, sticky, gravitational.
yeah. And I see retrograde right on the calendar and I get scared. So part of my, the last few moons and stuff is learning that it's not something to be scared of and that, it's a beautiful thing. So I have some work to dive in and learn. I got some questions to ask about it because I want to prepare for this one. And I really feel all this power from these last few moons have built up upon one another beautifully. And for me, my birthday was December 14th, and we had a beautiful, what was a full moon last year on my birthday. There was something powerful.
There was a new moon eclipse on your birthday because there was
Yes.
a full moon eclipse on my birthday, November 30th, and then your birthday, and Rachel, one of our sea goddess, your birthday is December 14th, and that right? And there was a new moon eclipse on that day. So we had some mirrors going on, some back-to-backers.
So that was huge. Those moons, I feel like it's been this almost a year-long journey and it's been crazy. So many lessons and so much. And we're in that shadow period right now, a lot of shadow work. So, but every time I do the shadow work, I'm now obsessed with shadow work. Okay. So I'm now at that point where I'm I can't get enough of it because it's that unraveling and making sense of things and feeling such clarity, right? And feeling so empowered. So now the more shadow work, the more empowered I start to feel. So I'm like, this is going to be powerful. How do I go about it? I want to get the most out of this and go in prepared and not allow my fear to because in the past, let me tell you what, I have been the walking retrograde commercial for Hot Mess Express, and I'm done walking in that light. I am done calling myself a Hot Mess Express because I would be like, oh nope, I've been so good. I haven't had any problems with my phone. And it'd be like, I had the perfect glass for it. I was ready to hide this for retrograde. My horoscope said this would happen. Everything my horoscope predicted was going to happen in the retrograde did, like miscommunication, breakdowns, problems, technology breakdown left and right. So I'm like, no, I am not allowing this narrative to continue. And I, from here out, see retrogrades as something positive. So I got to learn, I got to figure out, I got to do some work. I got some work to prepare. So,
well, we got you, sweet Lexi, because Ursula Duffy, our amazing astrologist and aromatherapist in the goo here at Sea Goddess, and I are going to be offering a retrograde course coming up. We're going to be announcing it next week, and we'll have all the details posted on Sea Goddess and Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. But we're going to offer some support for people through this, and we'll let you know some details because retrograde happens several. Yeah. Oh, we got you, girl. You signed up.
Sign me up.
Retrograde happens several times a year, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, maybe sometimes 2, but I think it's 3 or 4.
The good news is it's the last one of 2021, right? So the good news is
I'll have to confirm that. I think it is, though. I think this is the last one of 2021. And Ursula will let us know a whole lot more as we go into depth, and we'll be having her on as a guest too to talk a little bit more about that here on Unschooled. But retrograde's an opportunity to really practice your re's, and it's an opportunity to use this energy to let yourself integrate. There's been a whole lot of growth and process and things happening, not only, with our astrologically, with our moon cycles and many planets and stars shifting and moving and whatnot, but then there's also the seasons moving and letting go and releasing. And we can't be in bloom all the time. We have to blossom and release and reset. So retrogrades are all about practicing your re's, rest, reprioritize, refocus, reset, recalibrate, anything like that. It's all about dropping in, rethinking, readdressing, dropping deeper into yourself to just take a look at what's around you and why and what's happening. And how, if you invite it in your space, if you enjoy it, you could do better at something. If you need to release something, it's just a time to get a little bit more potent and clear with yourself. And for me, I was born during a retrograde. So I'm someone who retrogrades really work well for. And they do wreak havoc in the sense of people getting into accidents or getting overwhelmed or technology messing up and emails not going through and all of that good stuff. But I think it's just because it's our higher up be and our spirit guides asking us to take a breath and a beat and slow down, get off the rise and grind, get off push, 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 and let things receive another a little bit more. So when things aren't working for you, it's an opportunity to kind of pay attention and refocus during retrograde.
Yes. See, I love that. It's how we perceive it is I think our mindset going into it. I'm determined this one to have a good mindset. So now I wonder if I was born during a retrograde. I got so many questions about this. I can't wait to have Ursula on.
Yeah.
She is like my favorite. So when it comes to astrology, I'm the type, as I've said before, I've always tried to prove it wrong. And I've just been blown out of the water time and time again. And it's that thing where you can't explain it. It's like, just go try it for yourself. And you're blown out of the water, the preciseness and the depth that, that it can go. So we got to use this for our higher good. And I'm so glad you're offering this, because we need to retrain ourselves. That's a whole part of that process. And that theme of reset, I know you're a part of this too, but that has been a big theme for me. And I am determined to reset my daily routine and my daily life. So I know Mandee too. We're both participating in this amazing 44-day challenge with another gorgeous sea goddess, Danny, who it was like I was praying to the angels and they sent my answer down in the form of this is what I wanted. It's what I needed.
Straight up. So straight up silver platter, yo. Here you go.
I got my accountability board right here.
Yes. So what Lexi's referring to is we signed up for a beautiful 44-day challenge that started 2 days ago or yesterday, whatever day you chose. It started with fall, and Danny Marshburn of Infinite Yoga and Wellness, based out of Jacksonville, North Carolina. She's just incredible, and she's a lighthouse, and she's one of our sea goddesses, and we love and support her on all of the things that she does. And all of us have been calling in a bit of a reset and talked about a lot of the things we've done to help heal ourselves, to help reground, refocus, share our magic in the world, do the things that we do. And Danny came out a couple weeks ago and announced that she was going to have a 44-day infinite yoga, the Infinite 44 reset, fall reset. And you can choose what you want to commit to. She suggests a diet of your choice that you choose to stick to, whether that's clean eating or vegan or keto or gluten-free or sugar-free or whatever it is. A certain amount of water. Some of it's based on the hard 75s, like a certain amount of water that you drink every day. Reading 10 pages in an actual physical book, not like online or on your phone, because it's kind of bad for our eyes and other things. And I'm sure there's more purposes to that. But reading in a real book, doing 2 exercises a day, committing to 2 workouts, and 1 has to be outside. Also meditation, daily meditation each day, dropping into that. And so Danny's leading us with yoga and meditations and pep talks right now. And for me, it's been really nice. I've been committed to mostly plant-based, like clean eating for me. It's been very clean eating, primarily plants, not too much. And then I'm going to ease in a little and probably there's this medical medium 9-day cleanse I want to do. So I'm probably going to wean myself into that during this. So that'll be nice and potent. I'm loving committing to the exercise because I've been getting stronger, and I love being able to do yoga now twice a day with Danny. And then I walk my dogs outside. We just hightail it out in the sun and walk as fast as we can. And we get on the beach and get nature. And I've committed, I've been doing my juices and celery juice. Love that. And I'm reading, which I've been wanting to read for a really long time. I was like, you know what? I'm like, should I do a pleasure book? Should I do a diet book? What should I do? And I decided to do something I could learn a little bit from and that interests me and is in alignment with my health. So I'm reading Women's Body, Women's Wisdom, Creating Physical and Emotional Health and Healing by Dr. Christiane Northrup. She's one of our Northern stars here at Sea Goddess, and between Lexi and I and many, many people. And I've read so much of her work and studied so much, but I haven't actually read that amazing book all the way through. So that's her, like, I think 8th edition. That's all ready to rock and roll. So I'm excited about it.
And you know, that was the book that I want to do a book club on. That one and the mother-daughter wisdom, because they are, I think, life-changing. They've been life-changing for me. So, I'm so excited.
So what about you? How's the Infinite 44 working for you? What you got on that board over there?
Well, I got to share first off, because our goddess Danny had this very great, kind of chat about setting the goal and like getting clear, right, on setting your goal when it came to like the diet. And I was kind of setting some unrealistic goals. So the other thing that she talks about is like, if you miss a day, you have to restart. So like, that's like, you can't miss one of your things and keep going. You got to restart from day one. So I just barely hit day one today. I am on my already, and I'm not taking this as a negative thing. This has been positive because I have already learned so much about myself. I've already become so much more self-aware about my actions, my needs, my routines, and to drop into that and that intensity these first 2 days. I may not have started and be, day 2, day 3 now, but I've learned so much that I am even more excited to start. I feel even more grounded and able to be successful in this. And I feel like I made some really smart decisions. And like, I had to change. Originally, I wanted to do no sugar. I've not been off of sugar. I have been on sugar. So, and then I started to realize how many things I thought didn't have it in it that had added sugar. So it became
sugar's a hard one.
Yeah.
You become really aware of that when you're doing clean eating stuff, and it's in everything.
Well, and it's so crazy to see what's added. Okay. Nothing anymore is just simple and plain. There's got added sodium, added sugar, added, chemicals to preserve. And those are so bad for our body. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. So dropping into that awareness of, oh my gosh, how unaware I've been for so long of what I'm putting in. I thought some of these things were good for me, and they're actually not. So, and then, that was really big. And then I started looking into the diet, and then I had to like go through some emotional blocks around diet and eating and planning and like that whole, so it brought up a lot for me in the beginning because of past attempts and failures. I've left some wounds there. I had some shame that I've tried and I haven't been successful. So I had to work through a lot to kind of get to a place where I felt excited and ready for. And I learned about intuitive. I'm still learning. I'm still a little new to this intuitive eating concept and idea. So it's kind of like a clean eating intuitive. I have this really nice mainly vegetable based. I have some eggs though in there, and I do have some yogurt. um, 2-week meal plan that was kind of a crossover between a past, workout thing. I tried Beachbody a long time ago, but I liked their one way of breaking down the proteins and how it broke down the different types of food, because I'm interested in learning that because I want to fuel my body. I've gotten to that point where I've realized the food that I put in my body affects how I feel. You know what I mean? So I'm really striving to only put food in my body that makes me feel good. And
Awesome.
because when you connect your mood, and I've learned a lot about this as I'm trying to learn how to handle ADD and ADHD in my family and myself, my spouse, and my children. And to learn that a lot of food has effects on that was a big something I wasn't aware of. I knew some food makes you feel good, but I wasn't aware of how it, actually works through your body and it can affect it. So that's been eye-opening.
Well, and that's part of what this whole purpose of Unschooled is about. Taking a look at all those things and relearning the things that maybe we were taught and we need to reprogram and rewire, or maybe we just never learned it at all and we're discovering new things altogether. So it's an opportunity to dive in a little bit and sit with your vessel. Your body is going to tell you. I didn't eat fruit forever because I was on so many diets and different things that I was told fruit is bad and bad for you and will make you gain all this weight. I did not start healing until I reincorporated it, until I did the medical medium, their 28-day cleanse, and it had like bananas, blueberries, and dates, and it brought me back to life. And like that's still to this day, like what I do every day. Every morning I do celery juice, then my banana blueberry date smoothie, and a lot of times a salad, and I go from there. And it's like it just becomes part of your lifestyle, and your body tells you like what it is that it's wanting or craving or needing. And that's where that intuitive part comes in. I find that after I cleanse, after I do something, you're cleaned out, and like then you intuitively, your body will tell you what you want. You'll be like, I don't know why, but I'm craving a lot of broccoli tonight or sweet potatoes. Or for me, every now and then I do still want a little bit of meat or chicken. Very rarely do I crave dairy, or if I do, I have like a substitute that works for me. So it's interesting, but I get really inflamed easily from it, whereas other people need it a ton and love it and it works for them. So just knowing everybody is different and getting to know your body and your vessel and what it's needing and wanting from you. There is not a one size fits all in this.
Yeah. And, for me, being a mom, I've gotten to this point where like I realized, right, with me, what I put in my body, the effect. Now I have this feeling of guilt that I allowed for so long to set a bad example for my children and then allowed them to get hooked on certain things, right? Sugars and it's yogurt with so much added sugar in it. And, I've taught them about dyes, and we did a fun project to learn how dyes. We did the celery project with the food dye. And that is a great project if anybody wants to start learning, because I think hands-on learning, you got to learn for yourself. Nobody can tell you. You got to learn for yourself. You got to do your own research. You got to want to do it. And then it's that hands-on aspect, because for my kids, they don't understand why I'm like, oh no, after they've had it for so long. I'm like, and I tell them, I say, I'm so sorry that mommy is just learning this, but I've just learned, and I share it with them, hoping that they're going to understand. I know it's probably too much to take on, but I am like, how do I undo this damage and start to create? I want lasting health. Okay. I don't want just a 2-week eating good period. I want change that's going to continue on, forever, that's going to contribute and just continue, growth in a healthy direction. So I feel like I have to undo this with my kids. And so like, I'm starting with this challenge. Part of it was like, that mindful intuitive eating was trying to incorporate my kids in with it, with the cooking. And we're going to try some healthy alternatives to their favorite meals and have fun with this and hands-on. Thank God. And the fruit thing, you brought up the fruit. I was taught for so long that fruit was unhealthy, and I love fruit. My kids love it. Thank God I learned that we can have it and everything, because my kids will eat whole half of a watermelon. You know what I mean? They love their fruit, and living in thinking that was bad for us. And so there's so much fun learning here. Do you know what I mean?
I really do. And I found that it helped me to heal, and I'm grateful for that. And I needed some bananas and oranges and pineapple and cherries up in my life, and blueberries
Yeah.
especially. But there's just so many things. And like, and all, I've just found my way, my balance slowly but surely. And if you let yourself rest a little bit and recalibrate, your body will tell you exactly what it's needing. So, we're not going to be perfect. None of us are perfect. But the way I look at it when I do a challenge like this, say in my mind, I have a calendar and like check off lists of how many things each day. It's like you give yourself a gold star in your mind for each one you did. And then the ones that I didn't do, or if it didn't work out, like I just forgive myself at the end of the day and I restart another because at the end of that 44 days, man, are you going to transform? Even if you missed, a few ounces of water or one of your walks or whatever it is, still committing to it is going to make the biggest transformation ever.
Yeah.
And going moment by moment and forgiving yourself and stepping right back on.
I love that. Yes, because I find like the transformation happens in those lessons, like could be like, oh, down on myself and already being negative and calling myself a failure. You're not gonna be able to do this. But no, like, okay, like I had to learn this, I had to adjust, I had to tweak, I had to learn this, I had to take this into consideration. Like, oh, that awareness. And knowing Danny, her thing was about, she had this about this focus on self-awareness, right? And after that, the realization, right, of each one of these, the movement of the body, the meditation, the things that they're reading 10 pages a day in a book. And it feels good. Each day now feels good and it's exciting. And for the first time, I'm like, I'm going to crush this challenge. And this is going to be lasting change. And it's going to continue. And that's going to go way over 44 days. So this is going to be stuff that I take with me here on out. So that's how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it way beyond that 44 days.
Beautiful. And that's what these give us an opportunity to do. They give us an opportunity to see what might work for us, what doesn't work for us, what we do want to carry through and just become part of our normal everyday lifestyle, and then tweak it out a little bit. And like Danny said, and like I say, notice, try to make it as realistic as possible for you right now so that you can have success with it. And I learned from the medical medium, he was always in all of his books, like they're like, well, if you screw up or whatever, it's okay. Like you still eat 75% of the day, like this way, or you, think of how many celery juices you had this week that you never had before in your life. And so there's always that moment to get back on. And then when you get back on and you keep getting back on, that's when you really get to like lift off and integrate it and like realize like, wow, this is kind of easy for me. And this is just part of who I am and what I want to do now. So
Yeah.
it's just an opportunity to just go within and get to know yourself more. And if you realize you're crazy addicted to sugar, accept it and say, all right, I'm crazy addicted to sugar. What do I want to do about it right now?
That's me. Like I was like, I'm crazy addicted to sugar. And, I felt like I was never going to stop. I was addicted to Ben and Jerry's. Like it was a Ben and Jerry's threesome every night in my bed with me and a pint of strawberry cheesecake. Oh my God. Every night. Like I looked forward to it. And I never thought I was gonna be able to break that habit, and I broke it. Okay. And I feel so good about it. So I'm like, okay, I know I can do this. I know I can do this. And now it's like finding better ways to cure that sugar craving. And then like also identify when I'm having that sugar craving, why am I having that right now? A lot of the times it's low energy, right? It's low blood sugar. It's low, it's something else too. And it's like your body needing a pick-me-up of some sort, or a hug even, right? Because sugar feels like a hug. A chocolate chip feels like a hug.
Joy, warmth, sweetness.
Yeah.
That's what we get from it. So how can we evoke that in our life without eating a substance?
And so I like tea now has become my big thing. Ginger, lemon, water, tea, hot. I love it now. And I've replaced my coffee and my creamer because, oh my gosh, everything has carrageenan in it. And it is so bad for you. Carrageenan and sucralose. There's like these certain ingredients that I'm trying to say, well, they really upset my stomach. Okay. I have spent years, like I am just finally got relief. And thanks, Mandee is the one who's guided me to actually to the medical medium, to a lot of this healing stuff that I've been able to do. And I struggled prior to working with Mandee on my irritable bowel, like it'd be stress induced. Oh, it was awful. Anxiety, even in allergies and asthma. Even my asthma and my allergies are nowhere near where they used to be. And that's why I'm so excited, because I'm like, challenge accepted. I've had these oversized tonsils since my tonsillitis and what is it called? That horrible thing that took me out for an entire month. Mono in high school.
The medical medium addresses all of that. It's part of the Epstein-Barr virus. Did we lose our Lexi? Seems that we did, but she'll be back. But
I'm here.
You're here. I was saying that the medical medium teaches us that all of that, the mono and tonsillitis, and it all comes down to Epstein-Barr virus. And it's something that we can easily manage and heal, but we weren't taught how. And science is really catching up with a lot of it. And this is where
self-awareness,
science and spirituality and self-awareness and mindfulness, it's all bridging. And it needs to, so that we can be happy, holistic beings.
Exactly. And that's why I actually wanted for this experience, I want to just journal somehow my journal with this, because it's working on blocks, it's working on health, it's working on so many levels, right? And it's, healing is not linear, right? Healing is all over the place. And so we need to normalize that. We need to normalize that healing is not, it's messy, it's hard, it's an experience, but it's worth it in the long run. So
I like using, sorry to change the subject a little bit to what we were talking about. I like using maple syrup and honey for sweeteners. And like honey is not vegan, so that's another reason I'm primarily plant-based, but I really like using local honey for my allergies and to treat it, and for many other things. And since I incorporated honey back in my diet, my allergies have gotten so much better. I have a little bit right now. It's like fall, I get fall allergies, but it's nothing like it used to be. And it's 10,000 times better. And it's like every season it gets a little softer. And I'm like, this shit's making a difference.
And, Mandee has this routine too, that she shared with me, that she, when you start to feel it coming on, you immediately start to tap, right?
Yeah, I do.
You have she's got this like coping mechanism, like, okay, so symptoms are coming on, onset symptoms, we do this right away. And she starts taking care of it right away, and still waiting, and you do.
That's your first little beep, beep, trigger. We can sit there and wait for it to get worse. We know it's going to get worse. Or we can nip it in the bud. We can flush out the wound and put on the Band-Aid.
Yeah. And that tapping. So I feel like the tapping just works so well. That's with the lymphatic drainage, because a lot of the time what happens, especially with allergies, there's an allergen that's been put in the air. Okay. So there's a plant that just bloomed, whatever. There's, a mix of, depending on what you're sensitive to. Right. And
I think it's like a lot of goldenrod kind of stuff for me. And like a lot of that fall release.
Exactly. This is a really common and also, so what also happens is, due to like the changes in weather and temperature, and I'm sure it's probably even more a celestial reason than we even realize, that this time of year there is an increased sensitivity in our bodies for irritants. You know what I mean? For like to get cold, to get run down, to get something. And having those, it's a world of a difference. Like lemon balm has something in it to actually act as like a natural antihistamine for allergies. Yeah. And I didn't even, there's so many great, easy ways.
Oregano, thyme. There's so many that are so potent and supportive of us and our systems.
I love ginger. I didn't realize how much I love raw fresh ginger, even just like soaking it. So I started doing.
Just slice it and put it in hot water, baby. Drink that shit.
Okay, so I started reusing my glass bottles, right? Because I had to get myself off of, let me tell you what, my last baby was a Dr. Pepper baby, because all I craved with my last baby was Dr. Pepper, and I never drank soda. So then all of a sudden I became just a soda freaking fiend, and those big ones, and the amount of sugar and just artificial crap in it, right? So I've been doing the clear, reusing the bottles, and I do the ginger, the lemon, and like I'll do the pineapple sage and lemon balm. Oh my gosh, I love that pineapple sage. And hot water, I let it steep, and then I'll fill the rest up with some water and make like my own little mixed drinks. And I love them. It's, it's, yeah, an
Just
alternative.
slice some cucumber, some lime, throw it in
Yeah.
water, spice it up. It's detoxing and healthy and good for you.
Yeah. And now that I'm starting
And
to
you
keep
feel
this
it.
in,
You literally feel it. You're like, oh, wow, like, I feel a lot better.
yes, I was trying to do this like cleanse, this one, and the warning sign was you're gonna have to go pee a lot, which is a good thing, okay? Because that means that that water you're putting in your body is actually taking those toxins out, right? And it's working, and you're flushing out the system, and it's getting refreshed. And
Mhm.
I was so surprised, like how much it was working, and just that energy. I was really struggling, Mandee, with energy for a while, to the point where I would try whatever sounded good. Oh, like any of those programs. You know what I mean? Like the wonder pills, like, oh, energy in this, energy in that. Um, I'm liking this plant-based energy, this all natural. And it's supposed to be easier for our bodies to absorb, right? So there's so many benefits.
Yeah, hello. Wouldn't that make sense?
So, Mandee, you talked about the women's wisdom, right, book, and I just so happen to have the oracle cards. And these
Oh,
oracle cards are so awesome, and I feel so called to share a card or two with you and the group, because this is the women's wisdom oracle cards from the beautiful Christiana Northrup, who is a goddess. And these cards go in line with my favorite book that you're reading. So these
well,
have
let's
been,
pull some
this has been,
for us and our viewers.
yeah, this has been the set that I like to use for journaling and just self-reflection and or meditative. So you can take the card, journal on it, or whatever feels right for you. Oh, we got some jumping out. Okay. The first one, ooh, enlightened heart and mind. Risk versus safety.
Ooh, I love that.
So let me get to it, and I will share what it means.
Can I share a little bit about what comes up for me when you say that?
Yes, please.
So there's this beautiful balance between our mind and our heart and our higher heart. And we often get caught up in whether or not we should take that step or that leap or that risk and step out of our comfort or our safety zone. And I feel like a lot of times, especially as women, but just as beings who have done this work and on this path, when you tune into what your heart is wanting most and it pulls you a little bit forward, it can be a little scary and there can be butterflies, but there's often great reward on the other side of our fear. And sometimes it is important to play it safe and make sure you're tuning in. And when it's important to play it safe, your intuition will tell you. It will tell you, stranger danger, things aren't going to go well. You're going to she kind of looks like she's walking off a cliff in that one.
Yeah.
It'll
Yeah.
tell you. But sometimes that cliff is just a step down into peace, into the peace pool, into something that is going to serve you. So it's really important to allow yourself to tune into the energies of, is this pulling me forward and I'm like a little nervous because there's great reward? Or is this holding me back and telling me that this is not in alignment for me? Because they're two very different energies that we have an opportunity to really tune into and learn about ourselves as beings. And I'm very curious what Dr. Northrup wrote about it. I love that message for us, especially as we're in this retrograde period.
Oh, yes. And just wait till you hear this, because chills. I have chills listening to you. So risk versus safety. New ideas and ways of doing things are often threatening to the status quo. Have the courage to advance your ideas despite the resistance of others. Do so with an open heart and compassion for the point of view of others. Risk keeping an open mind and heart despite the opinions of others. Is that not so in line with what you just said?
I'm always telling myself, make decisions based on what my heart wants most, not what others think or might think. Because it's always for the highest good if I trust it. And if it's my true heart, not my ego, not bullshit, but if it's like what my heart is wanting most, it's a ricochet effect for all of us.
Okay, so the other one was the fertility and creativity, the regroup.
Ooh, perfect for retrograde. Regroup. What we got?
So for regroup, and okay, so and if you're into numbers, let's see here, fertility. This is one of the best, I have to say, decks out there. Okay, so number 9, regroup. For every idea or fertilized egg that actually takes root and grows, there are thousands that are stillborn, miscarried, born prematurely, or never even reach the stage of conception. This is part of nature's wisdom. When you've done everything in your power to create something happening, you sometimes have to simply let go and allow the particle form to die. Are you being asked to let something die? Remember that doing so creates compost for new creations. Most dreams and ideas never reach fruition. In humans, 90% of fertilized eggs never develop into viable pregnancies. When a creation fails or comes up against insurmountable outer forces, ask yourself, is this creation meant to be? Listen deeply for the universe's answer.
I love that.
Like this so talks about, remember how we were saying with retrograde, how, things can go wrong, right? Things can fall apart during retrograde. It's that falling apart for the greater good, that to trust in the process. Not everything is meant to, and you don't know what that's going to lead to.
Aren't galaxies formed by stars exploding?
Oh, yes.
That kind of thing, like atoms, when we, even from the time we're little babies in tiny cells, we break apart, we transform.
And oh my God, so how I was talking about the number 9, I got 9 as one of my numbers on the Enneagram from our fall reset. So I'm just learning about that. We're going to have to talk about that at a later date.
Nine's a big number of completion as well, cycles and completion. So it makes sense that it would be associated with fertility and like regrouping.
And what month are we in right now?
The Niner month.
The Niner. And what is it all about, right? We're getting into that month, right? The summer blooms are going to start to die off for fall and winter. And there's a beauty in that because it's the cycle, you know what I mean? It's part of those cycles, like going back. And it's so funny because there's these flowers, right? Our bulbs. And teaching my kids that, yes, it looks dead, but it's going to bloom again. It's such a beautiful little lesson to learn and to watch. So I feel like this is like telling us to really trust this retrograde and allow things to fall away that are not meant to be there, to trust in the process and to trust in ourselves taking that step. And I feel like as long as you go within, she's got that go within and talk. As long as you go within and you get that inner validation within, that's the validation you need, not that outer. Trust your inner validation. Go forward with your inner validation, fueling your fire and, leading you forward. It may feel blindly, but it's not. It's just that unknown step into, but it's like breaking into a new room. And I always loved it because how you go into those great little shops that you love and they usually always have some sort of beaded, little, and you walk in, it's this awesome store, right? Like it's something beautiful. You never know what's on the other side. So
you never know.
Thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you for sharing and feeling called to. And for all of our listeners, we hope that resonated with you. And we're grateful for you tuning in here to Unschooled. We have more episodes coming up, and we absolutely love your support. Lexi, how can our viewers get a hold of you or find you?
You can come find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Right?
And what's your handle?
Mermaid in the Vermont Mountains.
Mermaid in the VT Mountains, yo.
VT Mountains.
Yes.
Actually, just Mermaid in the Mountains.
Mermaid in the
I've
Mountains.
been trying to have it one across the way, but it's one of those things where sometimes it's had to put that VT in there. Although I don't like it because I don't want to be constricted to one set of mountains. But those are the mountains that I'm coming from right now.
True. You are in the 802 in the Vermont.
Yeah, we are.
And you can find more episodes of Unschooled and many more of our offerings on SeaGoddessHealingArts.com, as well as Lexi's going to be having a banner coming soon with all of her services being offered. And you can like us, follow, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram under Sea Goddess Healing Arts. Lexi, it's such an honor to hold space with you always. And thank you to all of our viewers for tuning in.
Thank you. It was an honor to share time with you.
We are wishing everyone a beautiful, whatever your next moment is. Talk to you soon.